Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's a chess show on Pod TV. My name is Sasha Star, and today we have Professor Ken Regan. Welcome to the show, Ken.
Yep, thank you very much for having me on.
Yeah, and we are all hopeful that another professor, Dan Fleetwood,
And he's right here. Yep,
he's right here. Wow, marvelous! Welcome to the show, Dan.
Speak of the devil, and he shall appear.
yes,
Good
right.
to see you, Sasha and Ken.
Yes, and let's start with your correspondent game, Ken. Would you like to show it to
Yes,
us?
well, actually, let me share some results and ask if of the games there's any particular one you would like me to show.
Okay.
Otherwise, I will think of your draw against the highest rated player. That would be Roman Chidliak.
That's a good game. I think actually my game against Alexander Dronov is probably a really interesting
let's watch this.
That was the game that ended prematurely with his untimely death in the tournament, which of course affected the final standings.
Oh,
okay. Well,
the game against Chidliak is a high quality game where I was on the black side of an Italian game, and I played I guess, I don't know, maybe it was a novelty, or at least it was a new move to me on move 12 that just took all of the life out of the game. So I felt bad for playing it, but it was the right move in the position. So
yeah, actually, I wonder if that's why, because I get booked at turn 18. Well, let's take a look at that, and then and maybe the other game too, and the cross table to explain about this. So let's see. So I'll share my screen, and share the entire screen. Here we go. And
sometimes the moves we play get turned into being book in the interim too. So
that's right, with chess-based cloud. So I should take a closer look at why. Although, let's see, the predecessor that chess-based says for your game against Chiliak, is it showing now?
Yes,
it's showing nicely.
Is a different ICCF game from 2021.
Okay.
But we'll play through the opening of this, and then there's the ending.
I suspect that was a game that was in progress but hadn't finished.
That's right. Oh, that makes sense. Actually, you're right. So Italian game, and it notes here that he played A4, that over the board, actually not over the board, chess.com speed blitz. Nakamura played knight BD2, but A4, we
they're both very good moves.
Expansion aspirations. And then what's interesting is we have trades on E6 and E3. You get your pawns doubled, but Chiliak does not. And so D4, rook back, capture, and now so the move that you played was D5, a loosening move for sure.
Yeah.
But
that's one of those moves that you only play after very long calculation because it looks horrible. But it turns out that the doubled pawns are quite difficult for white to attack.
And let's see. And if white just captures on D5, how do you recapture?
I suspect with the knight.
Okay. And that's, of course, tempoing white's rook, so white can't get E5. So if white then just plays rook E4, then this is...
I could even repeat moves. So
you could even repeat moves. You're right.
Yeah.
But let's see.
The pawn on D3 is just it's backward, and so it's just an easy position to play for black. Sometimes in some of the lines I wind up sacrificing a pawn, but I get open lines in free play.
Yeah, that's right. So white, played this way, therefore, but D4 very accurately judged. Now white has the only uncovered weakness, and you take it right away. White is able to recover the pawn, but you're right, pieces are going to be traded some more. I still thought it looked like he was still putting you under a little pressure. But obviously, if you're able to calculate, then you can see that
Yep.
it's going to come of it. So there was one moment where optically, with white play having rook c6 now or on the next move, it looks like white might be doing something, but there just isn't anything more to expand here.
Right. I mean, white's pawn on e4 basically shields that long diagonal that he would love to be attacking.
Yeah.
Long. Yep.
Yeah. And it's just the last move of the game is pretty, well, essentially, that white plays knight g6.
Yeah.
You know, it's a good way to guard f4.
Just a little joke.
Yeah, you can't take it because queen takes b6 check.
Yeah, of course.
Although, yeah. So, and repeating moves. But, okay, well, let me tell one other tale of the tape, which is the cross table. Every game was drawn except for the games lost by poor Alexander Dronov.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it was a very large tie for first. Was there? Oh wait, so it's 8. So some people only have 8. Oh, I see. Some people drew against him.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. What happened was, I believe the day that he passed was December 6th or December 7th, 2003. And the tournament started at November 20th, 2022. I'm sorry, 2023. So it was a little bit more than a year after the tournament started. And so there were some players that there was at least one player in the event that was taking all most of the legal time that was available to make moves in a what was clearly an overt effort to extend the games. Most of us were just playing chess, and so I don't know. If you look at the game versus Dronov that I have, it was right at the point where he was going to be able to force a perpetual check, even though it looks like I have a really, really good position at that point. So.
Yep. It's worth going through this because the position at the end is very interesting. So let me just say, by the way, you are a correspondence grandmaster, as are everyone in the field, I imagine.
No, it was maybe only half of us were grandmasters. The way that you qualify for the world championship is a little bit strange in correspondence chess. You can either win a semifinal and a candidates and qualify like that, and you don't have to be a grandmaster to do that. Or there were some special events that allowed qualifications.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're still way in book at this point. This is a line that has been used in past world championships, correspondence world championships, to win with either black or white, and so that's one of the reasons that it's a popular line.
Yeah, with my over-the-board sense, I would think white is getting a little pull by forcing the win of the two bishops. But I guess black is going to be able to develop enough counterplay and control.
Black's going to have beautiful knights in compensation, and white's bishops are going to be settled into F1 and E1 at some point.
Okay. Yes, here we go. And this is so there are dynamic counter chances in this line, and so this is the point where ChessBase detects a novelty, and you decided to get very active with G5 rather than just play positionally with knight C4, as had been done in an over-the-board game in 2014.
Yeah, I played G5 after a long think, if I recall. So,
okay, got it.
You don't play a move like that in correspondence chess lightly.
Right. Okay, must look at it. And how much computer analysis did you use to establish that this was okay?
Oh, I don't know. I probably went 80 ply deep would be my guess.
Okay,
so several overnight thinks.
Yeah, because I'll tell you what's my most interesting finding is that the intrinsic ratings for the tournament that I get with the three engines I use are below or at 3100, which is the limit of my resolution. Yeah. And you actually played at 3030 as measured by Stockfish 11, with error bars, of course, of 100.
Yeah, and the reason that I played a little bit lower is in several of my positions with white, I deliberately took lines that were that the computer wasn't as happy with the idea of getting positions late into the middle game that were more challenging to for the computer to calculate. And the hope was to lure black into trying too hard to win. And but in the end, everyone just bugged out for a draw.
Yeah. It's yeah. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, there are other players who get over the 3,200 mark, which is
yeah. I'm not going to name names, but some of the players were clearly just taking the computer's first or second recommendation at pretty much every move, which is not a very interesting way to play chess.
Yeah. Okay, so it's interesting that I'm able to detect that input, because it was
that is very interesting.
Fairly surprising. Now here it looks like you have a very nice position, but maybe the pawn on a6 with white eventually getting the knight into c5 is an Achilles heel. So
I was worried about my position all the way through here, mainly because Dronov was a 3-time correspondence champion and had a reputation for finding resources in previous tournaments that were hard to see even by the computers. So I spent a lot of time on this game.
Wow, yeah, and this is a nice move because it's going to pin you if you take it. It has to be really calculated through. So you just stand your ground, and white maybe can't reinforce the knight so easily. And now you finally start to get your attack, the compensating attack that you've been playing for. So there goes the knight in. And it's red. So he's not phased by your taking on h2. And why can't you take on h2 here?
God, I might be able to take on h2, but it might lead to perpetual. I mean, it's possibly just so. I don't know if he can play knight takes e4 here, or maybe that works.
You're right. I'm not seeing knight takes e4. Now, Deep Fritz wants white simply play king g2 and queen a1 and sit. And actually, white's queen
that's
could
close
go
to what happens in the game.
Come in. Yeah, that's actually white. It does allow white's queen to go to a1 and h1 and come into the game. So the move does have a drawback. Okie doke. Anyway, so you play king d6 to stop knight takes e4 ideas. And now you get down here, and this is again. So now you're certainly planning an attack, but white is going to capture your pawn, and so white's also
either knight a6 or knight takes e6.
Oh,
yay.
Okay.
Knight takes e6 here. Yeah,
takes on e6, and this is going to be perpetual check. Yeah, perpetual check. Actually, whether you play g3 or not. Yeah. Might as well throw in g3 and make white perpetual check you.
Yeah, exactly.
So exciting
That's
time.
Probably how the game would have ended if it would have gone on another month or two.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay. Well, yeah. It's too bad, but it's interesting. Yes. Let me just show. So this is. Oh yes. So this is so Turgut Tencel 2940. Let me come out of this and.
What you'll see is that the stronger players probably profiled as having the lower intrinsic ratings on the computer because the stronger players were more inclined to take chances.
Yeah. Well, we can name names here. Okay. Acevedo 3170, Alexandrov 3015, Anderskowitz 3100. John Banet 3180. Now over 3100, I don't really resolve well. Mikhail Churkin 3200, Shtiliak 3095, Dronov 3015, you 3040 on this measure, the stockfish. Haugen 3205, Hesse 3175, Kunzelman 3200, Tiziano Mosconi 3265. That's the highest so far. Panatevsky 3095, 3140 for him, Sviatchek 3035, Tarot 3160, and Turgut 2940, as I showed. So fairly naturally banded. Like I said, above 3,100, my model is losing resolving ability. But
I would say the two players who had the the three players going into the tournament who were the clear favorites were Dronoff, of course, is a three-time champion. Cheetalek, who's I think FIDE master or international master strength over the board, and 2680, one of the highest rated correspondence chess players, and Tansel Turgut. And all three of them, were clearly risk-taking in their games to try
Turgut
to
even lower than you, 2940 on my, because my IPR is an accuracy measure. I should take a closer look with my challenge created measure, which is still having problems, and see if that comes out as you say. Well,
anyway, fascinating.
Yeah, congratulations on
thank you.
The tournament.
Well done.
I kind of wish that I could have had a result like I had in some previous tournaments. Like in, I think it was 2011 or 2012, I won a Category 15 tournament with a +3 score. So it would have been nice to have had something like that. But, correspondence chess being what it is, you play, and it's really the process that's the most interesting as opposed to the result these days. Anyway, it was fun.
Yeah, the mechanics of the game. So the other big event happening this week is the Sinkfield Cup in St. Louis. The drama here started in the first round, clean drama this time, with the world champion being beaten by his compatriot. So I have two games to show, and the first round win by Pragnananda over Gukesh, fairly sensational. And this something I want to ask you, Dan. You might be involved here, as you can see it on the screen already. Black's opening choice, or maybe White's opening. White should be given credit. I mean, it looks very symmetrical, but so let's play the moves on the big board and see how they came about. So it's a Nimzo. But Nimzo that now is starting to take over some features of a Queen's Gambit accepted, especially when Black retreats back there.
Yeah, this has been very interesting over the last 2 or 3 years, because it used to be that the Nimzo was regarded as what? That White really didn't have ways to get as good a positions as out of the Knight F3 line. Right. But now White is scoring better over the board in Nimzo lines. So that's been really interesting to watch.
Okay. So anyway, so this might be an indication of why, because you look at this and you think yawn, but actually here's the so Bishop E2 is very crafty temporizing move.
Yeah.
Daring Black to play B5.
Yeah.
But otherwise, White is going to get in B4 and jump up with tempo. So it plays Knight C6 and now B4. And the thing is, White has gained this tempo and is going to expand on the queen side faster than Black. And the thing that catches my eye, if we go to the chess.com version of this position, does that show on the screen now? Yes, it should be.
Yes.
So Gukesh played Bishop A7, and according to Stockfish 17, that's already more than a half pawn disadvantage. It's very close to Larry Kaufman's 0.7 danger zone disadvantage. And even with Bishop E7, though, White has what you would call a plus rather than equality. So, and Black, of course, does not have any more prospects than White has. White is 2 tempi up in development. So one wonders about this opening choice. Maybe it's not as clear to play for a draw. But the interesting thing is the rest of this game is basically a crush. So Black plays Bishop A7, and we'll be able to see where Black makes an actual mistake.
The only thing that I could figure out when looking at this game is that maybe Gukesh mixed up his lines, because some of the moves that he played are correct in the main line Nimzo, but not when White plays an early A3. So,
Okay.
so it's possible.
Yeah, I haven't looked to see if there were any confessionals about this, because it's a bishop b2, rook d8, and white is just able to play some real schnunker moves. This is the first one. Okay,
Yeah.
we take over that square because of your back rank, and now bishop d7, and now we've got the two bishops. And unlike your position against Dronov, or was still Dronov, you're not going to have your Black's knights are not going to be as happy.
Nope.
They're about to retreat. So knight e4 coming in on weak squares. Black's a7 bishop is biting on granite. Now knight c5,
Oh.
rook b8. Okay, that knight has to retreat to the back rank. And then this is the most abject move of the game. Black has to put the rook in the corner.
I mean, this is a dream position as white.
Yeah, and the reason why Black can't play rook c8 is really amazing. It is easiest if I show it on the chess.com board. So this is the real thing about it. So if we play rook c8, watch what happens. This, and then this, and Black's rook can't defend the knight because of white's bishop on e5, and this is just crush, game over. So it's just it's shocking to see the world champion subjected to this sort of indignity within 20 moves. And right now, okay, so you're not going to get a knight to d5, which might have been your only glory in the position. More groveling. White just ignores it. Now Black's knights are both on the back rank. White takes over the open file. Black tries to mount defense of his king, but pawn drops off. Okay, rook a7. We have to see why rook a7 doesn't happen here. Let's see, how easy is it? How easy is it to see why rook a7 can't be played? Well, I'm blanking on it. Do you see it before I bring in the terrible computer? I guess it may be more of the same with bishop takes a6 following. Well, okay, let's ask the oracle here. Oops. So why not rook a7? Rook a7 is the best move.
Yeah.
And white just plays rook c1. Oh, okay. White just plays rook c1, defending things that way. Okay, that's silly. I thought there might be more tactics. Okay, so there's really nothing Black can do here. Black tried to, I don't know, desperation, I imagine. Now white just advances the cavalry or the infantrymen. And Black resigned. White's defending everything. There's a pin on the b5 if you take on b5. So quite a shock. Anyway, okay. So that, and in the first round, Levon Aronian also won a nice game. There have been other games in the Singfield Cup that could have been decisive, but let's show one more game. Let's show Caruana's win in a slugfest against Firouzja from round 3. And this is the sort of game that has a lot of red moves when you view it on chess.com, but I'm not going to view it on chess.com because I think this is just a great fighting game. And there's an element of chess challenge created, an over-the-board, lower-level version of what you were saying about correspondence chess, where you're playing to challenge the opponent, not to satisfy my cheat detection software, which is really looking for computer accuracy anyway. Mm-hmm. So I had a window open with this that showed the novelty. Let me do that again. I already have a window open version of this. Novelty comes at turn 14. So this is a known way to play. And so it's again Nimzo Queen Indian hybrid. But Black is meant to be okay. So White does get in the d5 pincer movement, which is positionally unappealing for black, but black has managed to trade off white's dark squared bishop and is able to gain some space. So knight e5. So this is structurally okay for black because neither bishop is particularly happy at the moment. And both bishops, black's bishop maybe has more perspective for the future. Anyway, knight d2 is a novelty blitz game played over the board, as the previous reference given by chess.com, where white just plays the solid b3, but Caruana has other ideas to challenge black on the king side, where white's rook lift is an important supporting idea. On the other hand, things do favor black if the dark squares become weak over there. So black anyway counters that with pressure on the center. And now Firouzja takes over the attack on this side on penalty of maybe incurring weak light squares. So here we go. White has occupied the light square. There are tactics that prevent d5 from falling. So knight takes c5 now, or knight f6 check actually is what would happen here, followed by bishop takes d5 check and winning the exchange. But we just play solidly. Now Caruana, black is a little soft on the queen side, d6 and b6 being hit. So black decides to reverse course and defend that. Now white plays b3, which I guess is just a solid move. I'm not really sure what b3 is doing. Maybe it's a mysterious move, and maybe it's one of the red moves on chess.com. Let's see. It's not, but queen b5 was, so that's interesting. So the computer thinks white could have played queen d2 and build up with f4 with that kingside attack idea that I was talking about first. Okay, so b3, rook b8, a3. So white's idea was to advance b4 without, if you play a3 first, then black would have had the option of a4, making a hole on b3. So that's Caruana's idea, but now Caruana doesn't follow through and play b4. Instead, knight takes c5, which is an optimal move according to the computer. Black takes this way, and now black has queen here, still keeping a lid for the moment on white's passed pawn, and black has the open file on the king side with pressure there. Okay, so black is now preparing further action on the king side. White decides not to repeat. Now here comes the further action. First, let's make a triple play on the f file, and now black decides to wheel around the bishop and put more pressure on the king side that way. So bishop a6, rook c3, and now a surprising decision by Firouzja maybe. I might have expected just to play bishop c8. I guess you have to defend e5 though. Wait, so I'm not picking that up. Yeah, actually it's difficult to defend e5. So I wonder if black is in some difficulty here. Let's take a look. So rather than use Fritz, so is black? Yeah, so black actually is in difficulty. Caruana has outplayed Firouzja in this position, and so for whatever reason, this game of maneuvering has led to a position in which black has outfoxed himself and can't guard e5 and does not have compensating pressure on f2. So Firouzja played the desperate c4 and bishop b5, but this endgame has been accurately judged by Caruana. And there's also something else I think about this game too, which is that black ran himself very short of time, but of course it was a difficult game to play. So black sheds a pawn, and then white is able to clamp down on d7. And then there's a final element here. Black's bishop does not have many squares, so Firouzja gave up. This has to take on e3, and then White is just going to be able to win any resulting position.
Mm.
So, it takes on e3, and then bishop e6, and rook d6 is happening.
Yeah, I was watching this game in translation, and according to Peter Swidler, Black was doomed almost from the opening. There was not a chance for him to escape all kind of unfavorable end games, and that's exactly what's happened in the game.
Yeah, here's where Firouzja was down to 2 minutes with 14 moves to make before the time control.
Yeah, that pawn on d5 just was a monster. And I guess Firouzja's idea was to try to get counterplay against f2, and that just never really...
Yeah, because knight on e4 was extremely strong, so you had to exchange your strong knight on c5 on e4, and from there was downfall straight.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
Yeah.
Okay, listen, thank you very much for very interesting games, and Dan, thank you for showing us your game, and it was fascinating.
Okay. Yep. Okay.
Have a great week.
Culmination of the Singfield Cup next week. So okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.